Now I have the privilege of bringing to the stage someone who answered his country's call of duty and served valiantly in the United States Marine Corps. Ladies and gentlemen, please get on your feet and welcome to the stage Sergeant Nick Stefanovic.
Thank you, Melissa, and I want to thank all of you for being here this week. The point of me coming here this morning is not to convince you that Veterans Courts work. I think we all are on board with that. I want to try and clarify maybe why it is that they work, and most importantly, I want to get across to you how important it is and what exactly this gift that you are giving to my population. My story begins in 2002. I joined the United States Marine Corps. I deployed 3 times, once to Afghanistan, I then went to Iraq, and I went back to Afghanistan. My deployment to Afghanistan the second time was specifically harsh. I was in a very volatile region of Afghanistan, and our unit took the most losses. I got out of the military soon after that, and I was experiencing all of these symptoms that we've become so familiar with as PTSD. I got involved in drug abuse, and I think one important thing to remember about this concept is that these symptoms of panic and anxiety and grief, they are instantly eradicated with drug use. The bad part is then the drug use becomes the problem. It's not a cure to anything, but that's what I took in 2006. Between 2006 and 2009, my life spun out of control. I had lost everything in those 3 years. I lost my family, my financial stability, I lost my shelter, I lost everything of any value in my life. And when I remember back to what I was thinking in those days, I was okay with all of that. I remember speaking to a Vietnam veteran at the VA at some point during those 3 years, and I was talking to him and telling him how I had these problems and how I needed to get my life back on track. And he had told me, he said, "Son, you made a sacrifice, and this is the result of that, and it's something that you have to live with. We don't get to have good lives again after that." I wish I could run into that Vietnam veteran again to talk to him and to let him know that that's not true anymore. That now there are programs like Veterans Treatment Court that can change that. I entered Veterans Treatment Court on May 1st of 2009. I was in front of Judge Marks. And, during that year, it was really 2 things that were the reasons for my success. One was I once again was able to stand in front of an authority figure and be reminded of this very special relationship that really only exists in the military. It's the relationship between an officer and their subordinate. It's a very a special relationship. It's this authority figure that cares very, very deeply about you and is willing to do anything for you. And because of that, I was willing to do anything for her. And one of the worst things that could have happened to me during that time was to disappoint her. It was one of the main reasons why I stayed sober. The other reason why I stayed sober was because I probably valued my freedom more than the average American citizen. I had seen in this world what it's like to not have freedom. I had fought for my freedom. So I didn't want to be incarcerated. And sometimes when West speaks, he talks about this secret plan that people have. My secret plan was, I'm going to get through this court, this year. I'm going to do everything they tell me to do. And then if I want to use drugs and alcohol again after that, I'm going to do it. And that's okay to have that plan in the beginning of Veterans Treatment Court, because there's a transformation that takes place. Probably around month 4 or 5, I began to see the benefits of being drug-free, of getting treatment for my mental health disorder. And I started to realize that life was okay at that point without them. You know, I remember a specific situation. I was sitting down eating dinner with my family, something that so many of us take for granted, but just realizing that I haven't been able to do this in 3 years without them telling me to leave or feeling unwelcome there. And it was a great thing. And you know, then by month 9 or 10, I was given a new purpose in my life. And by the time I graduated, I was a completely different person. You know, the day before I was in Veterans Treatment Court, I was living out of my car with nothing. Today, and the years after Veterans Treatment Court, the results of this program were I was able to go back and get my education. I got back into grad school. I became a contributing member of society. I got a job. I bought my own house. I have a family. All of these things I would never have believed and didn't even really want before Veterans Treatment Court. The last gift that I want to clarify before I make this introduction is that, and I've just recently began to be able to speak about this, one of my closest friends was killed in Afghanistan. He died at my feet. That memory, it destroyed me. Every day, every night, I thought about it. It was the foundation of my drug use. His memory, someone who was so important to me, was killing me. So probably the greatest gift that I was given by Judge Marks, Judge Schwartz, Judge Russell, and everybody in this room was that memory today is what drives me. I can be happy when I think about him, and that'll be for the rest of my life. So I am eternally indebted to everyone in this room. And so thank you. Thank you.